Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SOAR COVID and Cancer Online Video Series, Episode 1. I'm Crystal Wang, the CEO of SOAR.
Hi, I'm Lauren Yang. I'm the COO of SOAR. And so the COVID and Cancer Online Video Series was created for us to kind of talk about the issues surrounding COVID-19 and how it's changing the cancer space through conversations with cancer survivors, oncology nurses, and just other people working in cancer fields.
Today, we'll be interviewing Brandon. Brandon is an 18-year-old attending the University of Florida. He'll be majoring in psychology on a pre-med track, and Brandon was previously diagnosed with chondrosarcoma, which is a rare skull cancer. After surgery and proton radiation, Brandon has been in remission for almost 2 years, and he plans on being a pediatric psychologist, helping patients with their mental health during treatment. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
So could you briefly introduce just yourself and your cancer experience?
So my name is Brandon. I'm 18. I'm in South Florida. I was pretty much a normal kid up until the freshman year of high school. I had very minor symptoms like headaches, and I had double vision at times when I was a younger kid. But I had absolutely no idea any of these would amount to cancer. It was just basically hindsight 2020 when I was diagnosed. All these little minor symptoms kind of connected into this big monstrosity of cancer. At first, at the end of freshman year, it was very mild, all these symptoms. And if you think about it, you put water in a well and then it overfills, exactly that's what happened. The well overfilled, all the symptoms suddenly, I woke up one day, they were becoming minor problems into major problems. I never had hearing issues as a child, but one morning I woke up and I had 16% hearing in my left ear. My voice was starting to become very hoarse. It was even hard for my parents to understand me. It was just some weird symptoms that happened. Because of this, we went to see a regular pediatric doctor, and they were like, "Oh, you just have a viral infection. Just take some medicine, you'll be all good." Waited 2 weeks, it didn't go well. We went to see an ENT because I was dealing with the hearing loss and then the vocal cord situation. I was losing my voice randomly. It would come one day, and the next day I couldn't talk. I sounded like either a monster or as if I was losing my voice. And he scoped me, which is when they see your vocal cords through your nose, and they saw that one of my vocal cords was not touching the other. It was kind of just stagnant, and I had a paralyzed vocal cord. They also saw that I had 16% hearing in my left ear. Then he was like, "Oh, it's probably just another viral infection, no biggie, it'll last a few weeks. Just take some more medication, it'll all be better." I had headaches my whole life, and I never really knew why. I thought it was just dehydration, me being in the sun too much. There was never a reason. But then I started waking up with them, and these headaches were oh my lord, they were migraine level. It was very weird how I was in such bad headaches for no reason. So we went to the ER one morning because it was so bad, and Memorial, which is one of these local hospitals, they diagnosed me with a schwannoma. After an X-ray, CT scan, MRI, one day, swoop, I was diagnosed with a benign tumor in my skull. The doctors were like, "Oh, you don't need to do anything about it. It's benign, it's fine. No surgery, no nothing." We didn't really know what to do. We were researching everything, and we saw the whole team at Memorial, the local hospital, and there was just something not right. So we went down to Miami, which is an hour drive from me. They have a little better hospitals. We went to University of Miami, and we got in through the ENT system. So we learned from the ENT system. They started to like, oh, this doesn't look like a schwannoma. And we were like, what? Like, how is it not a benign tumor? And the more research we did and the more time that went by and the symptoms were getting worse and worse, we learned it was chondrosarcoma, which is a malignant skull-based tumor. And it's in the petrous bone right here. So this cancer was eating away at the bone. It started in the cartilage and it just kept eating through the bone. This was the summer, freshman to sophomore year. We went to MD Anderson in Texas and to Tampa, USF, to get more opinions. There were so many different ways they wanted to go through this malignant tumor. It was like USF's plan was like, oh, we'll just go around it. And then MD Anderson's plan was like, oh, we're going to do surgery and then radiation, like back to back. Like there was no time for break. So because of the proximity and just like I felt closer with the neurosurgeon at Miami, I decided to get treated in University of Miami with this guy named Jack Marcos. He's like my neurosurgeon and my lead professional help. I had in September of 2017, I had a 18-hour surgery with 4 different surgeons. I had the neurosurgeon, the one I talked about, 2 ENTs, one for my ear and one for my neck region, because it was going from my nose all the way down. And then I had a 4th one because a lot of the nerves in your head, they were getting affected. That's why I was getting all those symptoms. And the one major nerve I did not really get affected by was my facial nerve. Bell's palsy, like that could have been a major situation. So the 4th doctor there was just making sure I would not get Bell's palsy for the rest of my life, which thank God I didn't. So after the surgery, I was gone from school for 3 months. Miami was like, oh, you don't need much radiation. The issue was the radiation I needed. Chemotherapy would not work on me, on my cancer. So I needed proton radiation, which is only offered by a few centers of excellence around the world. So we chose to go to Boston, Massachusetts, and at MGH, I had 35 counts of proton and photon radiation the summer of my junior year. And after that, I was in remission. We noticed after the cancer, I had major scoliosis. It was like sporadic. It was never there my entire life. It came up like the year of the cancer. So I had to get my back had to get straightened. I don't know the term of the surgery, but I had to get scoliosis surgery, which was actually 1 year ago today for my back. And basically that's it. Right now, I'm doing fine. Besides Corona, I'm staying inside because I am a high risk because of cancer. It's been doing good, my health. Balance issues are still there because the back and, there's so many different operations I had. Never can pinpoint where these little symptoms are. I'm still deaf in my left ear, and then my vocal cord is still paralyzed, but there is a operation you can do, which is just a shot in your vocal cord. I know it sounds bad. That plumps it up so they can touch. That's why I sound, I don't sound as monstrous as I used to. And that's pretty much it. That's my journey.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so amazing to hear your story and that you're doing well now. So you kind of mentioned like what you've been kind of doing during like this whole pandemic, but our next question is, what have you been doing during like this period of social distancing, and how is it in Florida where you live?
I'll start talking about the Florida part. I think for now, like the top state, I used to be New York where all Corona is happening. It's flooding with Corona. And it's not good. Obviously, they reopened beaches, they reopened all the restaurants and everything. And I guess people, us humans, we need to socialize. So people are just going out willy-nilly, which I mean, it's not good, but hopefully whatever happened in New York will happen hopefully in Florida. So it'll go back down. For me, I've been starting a business. I've been reselling old and new perfume on eBay. And my parents had done that my whole life, so there's always an expectancy that I would carry on. But since Corona happened and I turned 18, I was like, I just might as well start making like money while I'm doing nothing. So I've been listing and selling perfume around the world.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. Yeah, keep going.
Oh, but besides like that, I've just been FaceTiming friends, you know, nothing really like crazy, just trying to speed up time.
Yeah, definitely. We can all relate, I'm sure. So obviously, you know, COVID is affecting a lot of people right now. We just want to ask you, with your past cancer treatments, have they left you immunocompromised at all? And is COVID affecting you in any way in that sense?
I mean, besides like, there's no real way to tell how my immune system can factor. I'm assuming I'm a higher case because I had all this surgery and radiation. You know, it's not. I'm probably not at the same level as a normal, non-diagnosed with cancer human, but there's no one to compare with. I had such a 1 in 5 million cancer. I don't know anyone who is my age with a skull-based tumor with the same types of sequence, what is it called, like steps that happened to me. Like there was, I know a few people who have chondrosarcoma, but you could have it in any single bone. Like it doesn't have to be in the skull base. And then there are always usually older people who have skull-based chondrosarcoma. So my doctor, we haven't really, I met with him in February just to get my yearly checkup, but it was before all this happened. So I am worried for my health because I had cancer, but I can say compared to other cancer patients, I probably have a higher survival rate if both of us had cancer, if we really wanted to compare, which, you know, probably isn't the best.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you were just saying how rare it is. You were saying like 1 in 5 million, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so because of that and like the fact that you didn't really know anyone your age who also like went through the same thing, were you in any like support groups for survivors in general? And if so, has COVID like affected any of those meetings or anything like that?
So I never really had any in-person groups. I was starting in the end of my senior year trying to make a cancer group at my school, but with, you know, Corona, it didn't pan out. On Facebook, there's a bunch of groups, chondrosarcoma, skull-based cancers. There's a lot of groups I'm a part of, but it's kind of hard to connect with people because again, like I am 18 and most of them are in their 40s and 50s, and I don't think my case could be any equivalent to what they're going through. So I have talked to them, but there was never really an in-person. So Corona really hasn't affected it that much.
Yeah, so we're going to shift the topic a little bit here. Brandon, you're one of our SOAR college scholarship recipients here. And we were like so impressed just by your application and by everything you wrote in your essay and how brave and courageous you are to be where you are today. Yeah, so I guess we were just wondering, what do you plan on using the scholarship money for, and how is that going to help you out?
So because of, in Florida, there's this thing called Bright Futures. So if you get a GPA, all this there's many requirements. You get like tuition like helped for. So with the money, I'll probably help pay for the rest of tuition or housing if we end up. I think right now, University of Florida is stating that we can go up in August to live there. So dorming for some reason is more money than the actual tuition. So with the money, I will be paying for tuition and housing.
Yeah, for sure. So you're attending University of Florida in the fall, which is super exciting. And it's also really funny that you bring up that tuition thing about how like dorming is more, because I know that's like a thing at a lot of colleges. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But,
crazy.
yeah, it's just so funny because like you would not think, but sometimes that's just the case. But like, so you're gonna be a freshman in the fall, which is super exciting. I guess, do you want to expand a little more on what your college plans are and if they're doing anything about COVID, which I know you just touched on a little? And I guess in general, how has COVID kind of affected you as a student?
Okay. Okay, so when I go to UF, right now, I definitely want to major in psychology. When I was going through all the treatments and everything that was happening, there was a much lack of my mental health being factored into it. There were a lot of people that were asking me, am I doing okay? I went to a ton of therapists and psychologists, but none of them really understood what I was dealing with. It's kind of hard because even though I am a cancer patient, unless you dealt with it, it doesn't feel right to like help someone. So now that like I've done it, I want to give back. And I can't really see myself being a full-time doctor. I mean, I'm going to pre-med just to say, oh, I'm going to do pre-med. I'm going to try my hardest with it, even though it might be really difficult. I want to see if I could do psychiatry. But if not, my second, my backup plan is definitely a pediatric psychologist working in hospitals, because I want to make sure people dealing with cancer or any other life-threatening disease get the mental health they deserve and help learn how to cope, because I don't think me and how I coped was healthy. I used a lot of, oh, I'm just a normal kid dealing with this random thing. This never happened. Like I used a lot of like really bad coping mechanisms to try to get me like out of what I was dealing with, which kind of made me like, I sometimes don't see myself as a cancer patient in a way, because I neglect every little mind of it, and I'm not like, oh, I did that, like, which I think should be the mentality. But that is something I want to do. I want to make sure like people understand the correct coping mechanisms to get through it, because I really think positive mentality helps more than the treatments, essentially. Because if you're negative about what you're going through, it'll be harder for you to overcome your obstacle than if you're positive about it. Besides, for Corona at school, they said that classes are happening and that school, like we're going to be going up in the fall. There's probably going to be more online classes. They'll probably only have labs and other smaller classes in person. But besides that, it seems regular. I mean, besides extracurriculars, they're probably not going to happen. I don't, if you want to read the question again, I kind of.
No,
yeah, that was
I got it.
All right. Everything that you said about wanting to become, a psychologist to like help other people with their mental health is like so amazing and noble of you, for going through this such like tough experience yourself and wanting to channel that energy to help others in the future. Just really commend you for that, for being like so willing to help others. And you mentioned a point about like you think the actual treatments themselves in cancer, while they're important, but like one's mindset throughout the whole process is also just as important. And that's actually one of the reasons we started this organization, was because while we couldn't help patients medically, we felt like we wanted to help cancer patients, like bring joy to them as they're like stuck in their treatments, and just like help them out in any way that we can outside of the actual medical funding parts. But yeah, so everything that you're saying about becoming a pediatric psychologist and how important mental health is, could you maybe expand on what do you think COVID-19 is doing in affecting people's mental health?
Hmm. Well, I think I said this before that humans are supposed to socialize. I stand by that a lot. And I feel for people who either don't have that family member they're living with or don't have anyone essentially. I mean, I'm thankful I'm with three other people in my house. So if I ever get like upset or need that contact of talking to someone in person, it's there. Or like I'm with my friends, not with them, but on FaceTime. And like I can communicate with them. So I feel like it's hurting mental health because they're not allowed to social, like people aren't allowed to like communicate with each other and have normal lives, which I think keeps people going. I mean, I remember when I was dealing with cancer and I was right after surgery. So I was messed up. And I wanted to go back to school so badly because I hated not being with friends. I was getting annoyed with everyone I was being surrounded with. Like I needed new people to socialize with. And I was in a critical condition. There's no way I'm gonna be at school, walking upstairs, sitting in classes, and learning and keeping up the information, especially with my course load. It was crazy sophomore year because I picked it before all this happened. I don't know how people are really doing it. It's just I compare that experience where I was stuck at home versus now. Even when I was in Boston, like I knew no one. I was with my mom the whole time. And it was just me and my mom in Boston. Like I don't have any friends in Boston. I'm in Florida. So it was really hard for me in Boston to keep up my mental health because I was never surrounded by friends. I think friends really are my biggest support system and got me through what I dealt with. And by not having anyone that like I was that connected to, it was just I compare it that so what is happening right now, but it's on a bigger scale. It's not just me versus the world. It's everyone for themselves trying to like get a positive mental space so they can flourish.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing that so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like this whole pandemic definitely has taken a toll on so many people's like mental health. Um, so I guess like kind of going into the next question, do you think your experience with cancer has any way like changed your outlook on life or society in general? Maybe especially like during this pandemic, given everything that's going on.
Hmm. So before cancer, I wanted to be a lawyer. My mom's a paralegal lawyer. I was good. I was like that from sixth grade to ninth grade. Right when cancer happened, I was like, do I really like law or I'm just putting that onto myself because my mom did it? So I started looking at other things. Oh, do I want to be an engineer? Do I want to be a doctor? And I never really found the love of psychology previously because they never really taught it in middle school. But I think also from being in the field where like I had no mental health, anyone helping me with that knew about what I was going through as well as I did, like that really helped me learn. Oh my lord, it really helped me learn like what I wanted to do in life. Um, by Corona, I guess it helped me. Like at the end of the year, I was starting to get normalcy. I never really had that. Even I had the back surgery and I was still recovering up until school started. I was going to school with a turtle shell brace. I looked like a turtle walking around. I put my shirt over the hard casing, but you can tell I had a case. Uh, what's it called? A shell, whatever. And I was getting back to normal. Like I was in a show, like I do drama, and I was the lead for the first time since freshman year. And I was like, oh, like I'm finally like getting back to normal. There's nothing stopping me. And then Corona happened. So in a way, Corona really ruin that normalcy. Like, yeah, I'm normal now in my home, but really, I just wanted the same uh, opportunities and experiences that I could have received if I didn't have cancer. So it kind of sucked that this happened right in the perfect time, right after everything was getting better.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. Talking about like everything that Corona has changed for your current life, it's definitely applicable to so many people. But I guess we're wondering, how do you think COVID has changed your plans for the future, and what are those plans?
Well, how it changed for me. I mean, I don't know how long this is gonna last. No one does, but it doesn't seem like it hurt me in the beginning of Corona because I was like frustrated with the situation, and I'm still going to UF. I'm still like doing all this stuff that I would have done without Corona.
Mhm.
So I don't think me as an individual it affects me that much, and it won't really change. I mean, again, it might last another year, and then school gets canceled, and then we'll talk again about how it ruined my life or it set me back. But at this point and how things are looking, I think the only thing that will change is how I won't be face to face with people as much in college, and my whole like freshman experience might be tarnished in a way. But as a whole, I really don't think this virus is gonna change much.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So that's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for just sharing everything with us, and everything that you said has been like so inspiring, just how positive you are and how much love that you have for the world. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we hope that you end up doing well in college, and hope everything works out with going back to school, hopefully, and eventually seeing your friends again and having that social interaction that we're all craving. Just again, thank you, and good luck with everything else going on.
No, I mean, thank you. Like, it really helped me with my future and what the possibilities are endless. What I can do. I'm still 18. Like, I can do so much. I hope like Corona is only gonna last a few more months, maybe, and everything can go back to normal. Because like normalcy is definitely like not even just me, like but everyone is probably craving right now.